2008, that's a long time. We've been working on this. Finally, we are on the downslope of this enhanced ID process. What is happening now is we contracted with Pasco Yaqui tribe, and they came up 3 weeks ago, I believe, and they finally installed our system. Our system is in place. Our networks, our connections are all good. The only thing we're waiting for right now is DHS to have their stamp of approval. It takes a long time for DHS to get a stamp of approval from Department of Homeland Security. So what they have to do now is they have to come in and they have to triple check all of our connections. They got to make sure that it's a single line, that it's not networked in amongst the full tribe. They have to look at our computers. They have to make sure that our computers are up to par. They have to make sure that we've got the right security cameras, the lighting, everything. So myself and my staff, our whole team, we have to pass intensive background checks in order to even issue an enhanced ID card. So we're in the process of doing that through the police department. We have to now, once we provide all of that information to DHS, that's one of the layers. So once we complete all these layers, and they think hopefully maybe in the next 4 months, we'll be done with all of these checks and balances with DHS, that we'll be able to start producing our first card. Pretty excited. It's, like I said, it's been since 2008, and we're finally on the downslope of making sure our enhanced ID cards become a reality. So what happens with an enhanced ID card? Basically, it is just good to get back into the States. You go to Canada, you go to Mexico, most people need a passport or whatever travel documentation they need. Tribal members, if you have your enhanced ID card, you just have to show them that, you're good to go. You don't have to produce any other thing. You don't have to get a passport. You don't have to do anything to get back into the States. Our unique relationship with the Canadian border from Osoyoos all the way to Danville is pretty unique. We have talked and talked and talked and talked many times with the border Port of Entry directors. They've agreed to accept our enhanced ID cards, and they still accept our tribal ID cards even today from port to port. I have not made really good relations yet because I haven't even attempted too much to go from Osoyoos to the coast, but I will work on that. I just need some time to do that. And I have the proper contacts to get there, and we know each other's names. We just haven't made that dialogue really profound enough to start saying, okay, this is what we want. So we actually tested just our tribal ID cards. We went into Mexico, down in Nogales, and it was no question asked. They looked at our card, and because we have the hologram on our card now, they actually thought it was the enhanced ID card. And we weren't going to say yes or no. We were just like, okay, we're not going to mess around. But they looked at it and they said, oh, we need to put this in our system, as an enhanced card. And that's kind of when I told them, well, it's not really an enhanced card, but it does have a lot higher securities than any other card. So we're almost there, Sherry. I mean, we've been working on this for a long time and waiting for a long time. Our cards are pretty awesome. We have our card stock in our office right now. We have a U.S. card, and then we have a Canadian card, which is very unique. We're the first tribe to ever be allowed to do that because we have so many tribal members that are Canadian status. So they've agreed to allow us to do that, which is pretty rare. I think we're going to be the only tribe that's going to be allowed to do that. We've had some pretty good advocates. Our Department of Homeland Security has definitely done their investigations. They've contacted our ports up here and our port directors both ways. US and Canada, have told them that our cars are probably the best cars by far that they've ever seen. So we are ahead of the game, you know, in many areas with our tribe. It's just, we're so used to it, we don't see it, so we expect more and more, which we should expect more and more, and we should thrive for more and more, but we are ahead of the game in a lot of areas. And the only thing that this card won't do is if you have any felons, any things on your record, it doesn't automatically let you into Canada. Canada still has their own guidelines, but we're working on that because, you know, they're expecting individuals with DUIs 40 years ago saying you're still inadmissible into our country. So I've put out a little message to one of our lobbyists over in Olympia, and we're going to try to schedule a meeting with the Canadian consular over in Seattle, and we want to really hash this out. You know, rehabilitation can take anywhere from $250 to $1,500 because you have to pay each time you meet, and each time they want something, you have to pay and pay. So of course they're going to want this, and they're going to want that, and they're going to want more and more, and it gets up there. So we just think it's really ridiculous for somebody who's been, you know, rehabilitated themselves, you know, 30 years, and they haven't had a lick of alcohol or haven't been in trouble for 30 years, that why they're still inadmissible. So we're working on that as well. It's just a slow process. Our staff is we're stretched pretty far right now, so we don't have a lot of time to go and to make the time. I know I need to make the time to make these contacts to make it happen.
One more weak spot that you don't have, that the tribe has, is in the IT program. Are they going to have the proper support for your program?
That's one thing.
Because, you know, they are up and down.
Right.
And we don't even get live broadcast anymore.
That's one thing that we had talked about with Haskayaki, our ISO, which is our connections. That is one thing that they had to guarantee. So we will not get a stamp of approval if our IT department is not in the car. We had to have a special computer, we had to have a special server. Our server itself cannot even be physically touching next to any of our network. We have our own standalone system, it's in its own page. You know, if they come in and they don't like it, they'll just shut it down. We will be audited probably 2 or 3 times a year to make sure that we're just not putting it in there when they come and then redoing it when they leave. Another good thing about the enhanced ID card is it's going to elevate our ID. So a lot of our tribal members unfortunately don't have a driver's license, and you can't cash checks off reservations. So what this card will do is it's going to up it. So it's going to allow you to be accepted just as a driver's license, pretty much, almost. Right now with the Real ID Act, Washington State's driver's license are in the pot. So our tribal ID, as it is right now, will be much better than a Washington State ID, Washington State driver's license. Once we do the enhanced, there's going to be no comparison. We're already WITI compliant, so we're already above a Washington State ID of any sorts. So we're, fingers crossed, we're moving forward. We're going to get things done. It's just been taking a long, long time.
Thank you, and thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, yeah. Any other questions? No?
Thank you.